I have a 3/4 mile dirt racetrack in my backyard, and I host an event every year called the Carnage Cup, where my friends and I buy cheap cars and race them against each other. It's a total blast. Everybody loves it. Where I live in Colorado, the track gets pretty dusty. You cannot have the event without a water truck. I've been very fortunate every year that I have some friends who are able to loan one from different businesses, and that's come in huge. But I'm always nervous that at the last minute something's going to happen and a water truck will be unavailable, which would mean the event would basically be impossible. After last year, I said, okay, I'll just start looking for my own water truck. I went on Facebook Marketplace the first time I looked, and I found the absolute perfect one. It's this 1967 International giant 28,000-pound truck, 2,500-gallon water tank on the back. It had been owned by the Forest Service at one point. Absolutely perfect. It had been sitting for a while, but from the pictures, it was pristine, no rust. Came to find out later, it only had about 30,000 original miles, so absolutely perfect. It's olive drab green. I envisioned putting my Camp Carnage logo on the side. It was gonna just be beautiful. So through Facebook Marketplace Messenger, I reached out to the owner. His name is Eric, first name's Eric. Tried reaching out 3 times. Hey, I'm interested in the water truck. Can I come look at it? No response. So I said, okay, I've got to get a hold of this guy. I did some digging, looked him up, and found the business that he works for, called the business, asked for Eric, got to speak to Eric. Hey, yeah, we have the water truck. And that put that in the back of my head. Okay, this is good. If he's not answering Messenger, but he is answering the phone, maybe he isn't talking to anybody, it gives me some leverage for this deal. He was only asking for $4,000 for the truck, which I thought was a pretty reasonable price. Problem is, it was 2.5 hours south from me. And he told me he's selling it for a friend, and it's way up in the mountains in Woodland Park. The truck ran, but the carburetor needs rebuilt, and it's got air brakes, and who knows how old the tires are, so it's gonna be a hassle to get it out of there. So I said, okay, when can I come look at it? At first, Eric, everything was great. He was like, okay, I'll go and take some extra pictures. We'll figure out a time to meet. Okay, perfect. He tells me, oh, I'm selling this for this guy, Jim, and I'm taking a 50% commission. Well, right there, ding, you shouldn't have told me that, because now I know how much margin you have on this deal. It's really a $2,000 truck. So I did call around, and you need a large semi for something that big. I don't have anything big enough that can move it. A few different people gave me a quote between, $1,500 and $2,500, but we need to see some pictures to make sure we can even get to it. So I went back to Eric and I said, hey, look, here's how much it's gonna cost me to get it out of there. Do you have any room on the price? And at first he was like, not really, but he said, okay, we can do it for $3,000. I said, okay, that's fine. And I said, but I need to come look at it and take some pictures for the drivers to make sure we can even get it out of there. And this is where Eric's tone totally changed. He's like, all right, look, I'll meet you out there, but it's an hour away from me, and I'm only making one trip out there. So when you come out there, you have to pay me for the whole thing. And I was like, well, I feel a little uncomfortable with that. We'd spoken on the phone, and he just seemed like a fishy, sketchy kind of guy. I said, look, I'm happy to come take a look at it. I need to take some pictures. I'm happy to give you a deposit, but I don't think I can pay you the full amount. I'm gonna have to come back one way or another. I'd be happy to meet you in town where you live to pay you for the remainder. Can we work something out? And he got really bent out of shape, and he's like, look, I'm only going out there one time. I've already been out there to take pictures and measurements. You have to pay me the full amount when I come out there. He mentioned that the owner of the truck, John, was eager to get it out of there. So I knew that the clock was ticking, which again, I think gives me a little more leverage. If you're in a hurry to get rid of this thing, I'm trying to work with you. I don't think you're talking to anybody else. The deal looks great in my favor. Eric became more combative, and I thought, okay, I know this guy's name is John. I also know that he told me he owns an in-home healthcare facility somewhere in the neighborhood of Woodland Park. So I said, if I can cut Eric out of the deal, this will be perfect. So I went on Google and I looked up anything healthcare adjacent in about a 25-mile radius from Woodland Park, and I started calling people. Hey, can I speak to John? What's the last name? I don't know. And I called every single place I could think of. I couldn't track down John. Okay, so I've got to deal with Eric. Finally, one other angry text message from Eric, and I said, look, I just don't think I can put some together in time, and honestly, you're making me a little uncomfortable. I think I'm gonna pass. Well, that really set him off, and I got paragraphs of, I'm totally offended, you would even imply that there's something sketchy going on here. Really blew up, so I laughed and thought that was pretty good. I'm like, okay, we'll find another one. About a week goes by, searching Facebook Marketplace again, and I see the same truck pop up, but this time, it's a different seller. The price is now $7,500, and it's in Bennett, Colorado, which is much closer to me. I thought, this is perfect. Somebody got in touch with him, bought the truck, got it running, got it down from the mountain, and now they're trying to sell it and make some money. I ended up thinking, even if I pay this guy a little bit more, it'll probably still be a good deal. It's what I would have paid in freight getting the truck out of there in the first place. This might work out great. I contact the second guy, his name's Mike, and he says, yeah, I would be happy to sell it to you. And I said, when can I come look at it? He says, I gotta leave town for a week. I'll message you when I get back, okay? 3 or 4 days goes by, and Eric messages me again. hey, the truck is still up here. I sold it to this car flipper. He couldn't get it out of here in time, and John is really hounding me to get it out of his neighbor's yard. So if you come and get it right now, I'll give it to you for 500 bucks. And I was thinking, okay, so number one, Mike lied. He didn't have the truck at his house. That's why he was stalling. He needed to wait a week to try to get it out of there. But I thought, okay, this still might work out in my favor. Now, obviously, I'm not going to pay Eric any money. I'll just deal with Mike. Mike knows where the truck is. He has the title and the keys. So I get back in touch with him. Hey, Eric is messaging me, told me the truck is still up there, and he said, oh yeah, sorry, I had trouble getting it out of there. And I said, look, let's figure something out. If you know a guy with a big enough trailer, I can go up there and help you get it running, load it on the trailer, we'll make some sort of deal, it'll work out for both of us. He said, okay. The next morning, I get back in touch with Eric. Hey Eric, can I try to come out there and look at the truck? Oh, no, I'm sorry, a tow truck came and hauled it away this morning. A tow truck company from LaSalle came and hauled it away. Right away, I wanted to say, you did exactly the thing I was worried you were going to do. So this other guy paid him, tried to get it out of there as quick as he could, didn't do it fast enough for Eric's liking, and then he had it hauled away, which is exactly the thing I told him I was nervous he was going to do, that he got so bent out of shape when I suggested he was going to do. So I had to pat myself on the back for being right about that one. Okay, the truck is hauled away. I get back in touch with Mike, say, hey, are you going to try to track this thing down? He goes, honestly, I don't have the time, and I don't like this guy, so I'm just going to let it go. So I said, okay, the only clues I have, tow truck company from LaSalle. They're going to know this truck. So I go on Google and I did the same thing. I wrote down every tow truck company in about a 50-mile radius and started calling them one by one. Went down the list. By the 16th number, I call, hey, I'm looking for this international water truck. And the guy on the other line says, yeah, well, it's not here right now. And I smiled and circled it. I go, bingo. We found somebody who knows where it is. And I said, okay, can you tell me where it is? And he's like, oh no, I can't do that. You'll have to contact the guy who had it hauled away. And I didn't want to, this might be my only chance, so I said, okay, thanks, hung up the phone. Right now, I have no claim to ownership on the truck. But I get back in touch with Mike. I say, look, I know a guy who knows where the truck is. If I can come to you and get the title and the keys, if I'm able to recover the truck, I'll send you $1,000. You'll get some of your money back and you have no hassle. It'll work out okay for both of us. He says, sure. I drive an hour out to his house in Bennett. He gives me the keys and the title, no money exchanged at this point. And I'm thinking, this is great. So far, I'm one step closer to the water truck, having spent $0. I think, okay, I'll just put the title in my name. Well, now there's another dilemma. Somebody had bought the truck in 2017 and filled out the title, but never turned it in and got it put in their name. So now it's, do I cross all that information out and sign it myself? It's a little sketchy. I've had mixed results at the title office, and without a VIN inspection, it's just too much of a risk, and I can't get an inspection without the truck, so it's a little bit of a dead end. But either way, I called back the tow truck company, and I said, hey, I'm inquiring about this truck again. And the guy said, hey, I told you it's already not here. I said, whoa, let me explain. I tried to calm him down. I was like, I bought the truck from this guy. I have the title. I have the keys. Technically it's mine. All I need you to do is you could help tell me where it is. And I would even pay you to haul it to me. And he's like, well, look, I understand, and it's a shame that you're out some money, but all the time we'll haul cars away that have the titles in them. So we only can work with the people who pay us to haul the cars away. And so I was like, okay, so there's nothing you can do. And I really tried. I was like, so can you tell me the area that it's in? Is it around town? How far did you take it? But it was another little bit of a dead end. So now I'm like, okay, I've got to go back through Eric. And so I tried, super polite, sent him multiple polite text messages. Hey, Eric, I'm just trying to track this truck down. If you tell me where it went, I would be happy to give you some money. I understand this whole thing was a hassle. Didn't answer any of my messages. Thought he might have blocked me, so I tried from a different phone number. I called him. He hung up on me. And so I even went so far as thinking, okay, I know his business. I could call and say I'm trying to make an appointment for one of his services and then show up and be like, hey man, where's the water truck? But at this point, it's starting to feel a little stalker-ish, and I'm really not trying to get into a major confrontation. So Eric is a dead end. I think, okay, I've got one more shot with the tow truck driver. He's the only other person who knows where this thing is. I called him back, look, it's me again. I hate to bother you. I know this probably isn't what you're supposed to do. I'll give you $500 if you tell me where this truck is. And he just hung up on me. I wish the story had a happier ending. I sort of hit a dead end without being able to get in touch with Eric or the tow truck driver, but I'm hoping that maybe somebody watching a large YouTube channel who hears this story and lives in the southern Colorado area might have some more information about it. And I'd be willing to offer maybe something in the neighborhood of like a $1,000 bounty for any information about the '67 International water truck.
If you're ready for your next adventure, you're gonna need the right car, and the best way to buy your next car is with the help of Premier Financial Services. The Simple Lease from Premier Financial is the most powerful tool in the world of exotic car financing. You get all the benefits of a traditional loan, like the ability to accumulate equity, pay it off at any time, and they give you a perfectly easy to understand amortization table, but you also get the benefits of a lease, the low payment, the flexible terms, the low down payments, but also you get to use some certain tax benefits that leases entitle you to. They've taken great care of me, and I know they'll take great care of you, so check them out now at the link in the description below.